My scholars, you are welcome to the My School channel, where we are tackling the JAMB CBT past question for the subject physics and the year 2020. Remember, my name is Abiola. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us because we'll be right back. My scholars, you're welcome back to my school channel, and in this particular clip we are solving questions 21 to 38. So join me as we tackle question 21. Two mirrors of the same length are arranged as shown in the diagram. So we have this arrangement, okay? A ray of light NO strikes the system at point O, okay, and emerges along PQ. The emergent ray has been deviated through how many degrees? Okay, so when you look at this should give you a clue that we are looking at something supplementary, which is 180, but nevertheless you are seeing a kind of angle being formed and another angle being formed at this point. So this is 40, this is 40. So at this point what we are left with is 100. Okay, 40, 40, that is 80 minus 180, that is 100. So we can see at NO the emergence will be 100 degrees. Then coming over here, okay, we have 100 already. So what we are left with is 80. So the deviation from this point now will just be 80 degrees. So all together, everything makes 180. So you're going back to the question. Two mirrors of the same length are arranged as shown in the diagram. A ray of light NO strikes the system at O and emerges along PQ. The emergent ray has been deviated through how many degrees? So 100 plus 80, that makes 180. So the correct option is option D. Question 22. A magnetic needle is suspended first at the Earth's north magnetic pole and then at a point on the magnetic equator. The respective angle between the needle and the horizontal are what? Okay, so being suspended at the Earth's north magnetic pole, that tells you about latitude 90 degrees already, the Earth axis. Then we are talking about the magnetic equator. There the magnetic field is horizontal and we're having an inclination of 0 degrees. So that tells you 90 degrees and 0 degrees respectively. So the correct option here is option D. The respective angles between the needle and the horizontal are 90 degrees and 0 degrees. So option D is the correct option. Here you have number 23. Consider the three forces acting at O and in equilibrium as shown in the figure. Which of the following equations is or are correct? Okay, so this tells you equilibrium of forces, and having P1, P2, and P3, okay, they must be equals to 0. You remember equilibrium, okay? So, and we should also know this, that if we are going to make a balance, P1 plus P2 will be equals to minus P3. They are equal, but in opposite direction. Okay, so looking at all of this, looking through all of the options or statements given or equations provided, the most viable one, considering the sign rule, okay, it's option 3. P1 sine theta 1 equals to P2 sine theta 2. Okay, so the most viable one in the context of options provided for us is option or statement 3 or equation 3. So that's option C is correct. Number 24. The refractive index of a liquid is 1.5. If the velocity of light in vacuum is 3.0 times 10 raised to the power 8 meter per second, the velocity of light in the liquid is what? So just record that refractive index equals velocity of light in a vacuum over velocity of light in the medium, and the medium in this question is liquid. So let's look at this. So we have refractive index, which is 1.5, the velocity of light in vacuum, or we're talking about air, okay, that is 3.0 times 10 raised to the power 8 over the velocity of light in that liquid. When we cross multiply, we have x times 1.5 equals 3.0 times 10 raised to the power 8. Dividing both sides by 1.5, x equals this here 1, this here 2. So that's 2 times 10 raised to the power 8 meter per second, or it can be written as this. Okay, so this is the velocity of light in that liquid. So let's go back to the screen and select the correct option. So if you scan through all of the options together, you will agree with me that option B, 2.0 times 10 raised to the power 8 meter per second, is the correct option. Don't forget that you have to use any of the Myschool tools to help you better prepare for your coming exams. So all you just have to do, you click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the Myschool website where you have enough guidelines on how you can get the Myschool mobile app or the Myschool software for just a token of 1,000 Naira. So why not download the app or the software right now? So right now we're tackling question 25. A ship traveling towards a cliff receives the echo of its whistle after 3.5 seconds. A short while later, it receives the echo after 2.5 seconds. If the speed of sound in air under the prevailing condition is 250 meters per second, how much closer is the ship to the cliff? So we are talking about echo in this question. So you should remember that echo equals 2 times of the distance it takes the sound to travel towards the particular point you are sending it and for it to return back. So in this case, we're talking about a cliff, okay? We say receive the echo of a whistle after 3.5 seconds, okay? So how close is the ship to the cliff now over the time? So in this case, we have 2 times, okay, that is being considered. We have 3.5 seconds and 2.5 seconds. So if you take away 2.5 seconds from 3.5 seconds, so you just have a second difference. So we are going to have, and we are told under that condition, we have 250 for the speed of sound, okay, equals 2 times the distance over the time difference we've just gotten now, which is 1 second. All right, so we have 250 times 1 equals 2 times d. All right, so 125 meters. So the ship is 125 meters close to the cliff. So let's go back to the screen and select the correct option. So look through all of the options, then option D, 1 to 5 meters, is the correct option. We believe these video clips are helping you in your better preparation for your coming exams. All you just have to do so that you can get enough information on how we are making this happen for you. So kindly hit the like button, click on the subscribe button and tap on bell notification so you can get informed as soon as we upload the next video just for you. Number 26. Which of the following statements about defect of visions is or are correct? For a long-sighted person, close objects appear blurred because a long-sighted person can only see far objects, okay, not objects that are closer. This is due to the reason that the rays from the object seen is formed some distance away from the retina, okay, and probably because the crystalline lens is not convergent enough, so you can use a converging lens to correct this situation. It's also referred to as hypermetropia, a medical eye condition, okay, eye medical whatever. So we have statement 2 for a short, so statement 1 is correct. For a short-sighted person, distant objects appear blurred, of course, a short-sighted person can only see objects that are closer, far object becomes blurry, okay, and this is due to the fact that the rays from the object in focus, they are formed somewhere before the retina, not at the retina. So this means that you will need a concave lens to correct this eye defect, okay. So, and this is also referred to as a condition myopia. Okay, so we have statement 3, short-sightedness or short sight is corrected by using a pair of converging lenses. This is incorrect. You correct this condition, short-sightedness, by using a concave mirror, not a converging lens, or concave lens rather, or a diverging lens. So this is incorrect. So the correct option to this question given us, going back to the question, which of the following statements about defects of vision is or are correct. So statement 1 and 2 are correct. Statement 3 is incorrect. So the correct ones are 1 and 2. That makes option C the correct option. 27. Which of the following conditions are necessary and sufficient for total internal reflection to take place at the boundary between two optical media? Okay, what we should know is that light is passing from an optically denser medium to an optically lesser medium, that is higher refractive index to a lower one. Then secondly, you are talking about the angle of incidence is greater than a certain critical value. So the two correct statements or conditions regarding total internal reflections are statement 1, light is passing from optical denser medium to optical less dense medium. Then D, statement 3, angle of incidence is greater than a certain critical value. So statements 1 and 3, they are the correct conditions for total internal reflection to take place under these set conditions. So we have option D as the correct option, containing statement 1 and statement 3 only. So option D is super correct. 28. The linear expansivity of brass is 2 times 10 raised to the power minus 5 degrees Celsius. Okay, if the volume of the piece of brass is 10 centimeter cube at 0 degrees Celsius, what would be its volume at 100 degrees Celsius? So this question should not trick you, because I believe you are a genius as well. So looking at this, you would have pulled out the formula for linear expansivity, but when you check the other metrics provided us, they are given in cubic of volume expansivity. So you have your linear expansivity given as 2.0 times 10 raised to the power minus 5, or 2 times 10 raised to the power minus 5. And you remember very well that cubic expansivity, all right, equals 3 times of alpha. So that will be 3 times 2 times 10 raised to the power minus 5. And that tells you that our cubic expansivity is 6 times 10 raised to the power minus 5. So going back to the formula for cubic expansivity, we have increase in volume, that is V2 minus V1 over original volume times change in temperature. Okay, so let's sort out this metric. So we have the final volume, which is unknown. The initial volume is given as 10 centimeter cube. Our cubic expansivity, we have it as 6 times 10 raised to the power minus 5, okay? Then we also have the temperature difference. We have 100 minus 0 degrees. This is given from the question, and that still means 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so now let's just slot in these values and we're going to get the correct answer. So when we cross multiply, we are looking for V2, so we have times V1 delta theta equals V2 minus V1. So therefore, when we send V1 inside, it will be times V1. This is not Y, this is gamma, okay? And delta theta, okay, plus V1 equals V2. So let's put in this value. We have this as, okay, I think we can even move it up here. So we have our gamma as 6 times 10 raised to the power minus 5 multiplies our volume 1, that is 10. Then our change in temperature, that is 100. Okay, then plus our volume 1, which is still 10, equals V2. Okay, so we have 10 times 100, that is 1,000. And 1,000 tells you that is 10 raised to the power 3. So we have 6 times 10 raised to the power minus 5 times 10 raised to the power 3. Okay, plus 10 equals to V2. So that tells you 6 times minus 5 plus, this changes to plus 3. Okay, then we have plus 10 equals V2. So that tells you that's yes, 10 raised to the power minus 5 plus 3. Minus 5 plus 3, that gives you minus 2. So we have 6 times 10 raised to the power minus 2 plus 10 equals V2. 6 times 10 raised to the power minus 2 is 6 times 1 over 100. That is 6 divided by 100, and that is 0.06 plus 10 equals V2. Therefore, V2 equals, when we add this up, 10.06 centimeter cube. So let's go back to the screen and select the correct option. Having V2 as 10.06 centimeter cube. So look through all of these options and you will see option A, 10.06 centimeter cube. Option A is very correct. Number 29. The lower and the upper fixed point marked on a mercury in-glass thermometer are 210 millimeter apart. Okay, the end of the mercury column in the tube is 49 millimeter above the lower fixed point in a room. What is the temperature of the room in degrees Celsius? So this is just talking about the temperature scale, and you'll be considering the lower fixed points, all right, over the upper fixed point, then that point above the lower fixed points. Okay, and in this question we have it as, we're giving it as 49. Then at the upper fixed point, okay, we have 210. So at the lower fixed point we don't know, so that we have theta minus 0, the upper fixed point, that is 100 minus 0 equals 49. This is also minus 0, still gives you the same thing. 210 minus 0 gives you the same thing. So we have 210. Theta minus 0, that's still theta. 100 minus 0, that's still 100. So let's save time and walk through these steps as fast as we can. So we do cross multiply. So we have theta times 210 equals 100 times 49. Dividing both sides by 210. Alright, so 0 strikes out 0. We have 7 here 3, 7 here 7. So 70. 7 times 10, 70 divides 3. So we have 23.3333 degrees Celsius. So let's go back to the screen and select the correct option. So if you look through all of these options, you will see that option B, 23.3 degrees Celsius, is the correct option. Question 30. Heat is supplied uniformly at the rate of 100 watts to 1.0 times 10 raised to the power minus 2 kilogram of a liquid for 20 seconds. If the temperature of the liquid rises by 5 degrees Celsius, okay, then the specific heat capacity of the liquid is what? So you just have to use this formula when you have the thermal energy or quantity of the heat. Q equals mc delta theta, where C is specific heat capacity. Remember, is the temperature you need to raise 1 kilogram of that particular substance by 1 degree Celsius. So we're using this, and remember that energy equals power times time. So that is P times T equals mc delta theta. So we are finding C, dividing both sides by m delta theta, m delta theta. So this is struck out at this end. Okay, so we have C equals PT over m delta theta. And we are given power as 100 watts from the question for 20 seconds, isn't it? Then we have the mass is 1.0 times 10 raised to the power minus 2. Then we talk about the temperature rises by 5 degrees Celsius. This is 4. So 400 divides 1 point times 10 raised to the power minus 2, please. We have minus 2 from the question. So when you divide this, what you should have is 4 times 10 raised to the power 4. Okay, 4 times 10 raised to the power 4. Yes, that is what you should have, 4 times 10 raised to the power 4. So let's go back to our screen and select the correct option. So look through all of the options provided and you will see option C, 4.0 times 10 raised to the power 4 joules per kilogram per Kelvin. Okay, so take note of the unit. This is a unit for specific heat capacity. So the values may look the same, but the units also make the correct option distinct. So this is the correct option here, option C. Option C is super correct. Question 31. Two divers G and H are at depth 20 meters and 40 meters respectively below the water surface in a lake. Okay, the pressure on G is P1, okay, while the pressure on H is P2. All right, so if the atmospheric pressure is equivalent to 10 meters of water, then the value of P2 ratio P1 is what? So all you just have to do, you should know that this pressure increases with depth. So we're talking about the diver G. That'll be 20 plus 10. Remember that at 10, you have the atmospheric pressure, okay? If the atmospheric pressure is equivalent to 10 meters of water. So that's going to be 30. Okay, so we have the other one, which is H rather. H is at 50, remember the equivalence of the atmospheric pressure. Okay, that's 40 rather, added up to the equivalence of the atmospheric pressure. That's 40 plus 10, that is 50. We know this is P2 and this is P1. Okay, so we are finding P2 ratio P1 or P2 over P1. Okay, that will be 50 over 30. So that should be 1.67 thereabouts. Okay, so let's go back to the screen and select the correct option. If we look through all of the options provided, we'll see option C, 1.67 as the correct option. Question 32. The figure above represents a block and tackle pulley system on which an effort of W newtons supports a load of 120 newtons. Okay, if the efficiency of the machine is at 40%, then the value of W is what? Okay, so recall that efficiency for a machine equals MA over VR. So we see this, that is mechanical advantage over velocity ratio multiplies 100. Okay, that's for efficiency percentage, and we are given efficiency as 40% from the question. Our MA, okay, that is load over effort. We have a load of 120 over the effort giving us W. Okay, so then we have our VR. Looking at the pulley system, okay, when you count what we have the fixed and we have the movable, 3, that is 6 in total. So let's slot in these values and provide answer to the question. So we have E is giving us 40 equals MA, which is load over effort, over or divided by the VR, which is 6 times 100 over 1. So we have 40 equals 120, which is for the load, all right, times 1 over 6 times 100 over 1. Okay, so we have 6 here 1, 6 here 20. So we have, when we cross multiply, we have E times 40 equals 20 times 100. Dividing both sides by 40. 0 strikes as 0. We have 4 here 1, 4 here 5. 5 times this, we have 50 newtons. So the effort required or the effort needed is 50 newtons. So let's go back to the options given us and select the correct answer. So the figure above represents a block and tackle pulley system on which an effort of 50 newtons supports a load of 120 newtons. So we can see option D for 50.0 newton is the correct option. Number 33. In an experiment in which molten naphthalene is allowed to cool, the cooling curve I in the figure was obtained. The temperature 80 degrees Celsius is known as the what? Okay, so just notice that the melting point and the freezing point for naphthalene is 80 degrees Celsius. Naphthalene has higher melting point than water because of its strong intermolecular forces. The boiling point for naphthalene is 218 degrees Celsius. So going by the options provided or given us, we can see that option C, melting point, is the correct option. 34. In the figure, the value of R is what? So this is an arrangement in parallel. When we bring them together, we'll get an arrangement that aligns with this in series. So at first, we have to solve this in parallel. So that will give us 1 over the R in parallel equals 1 over R plus 1 over 6. Let me show you what I mean using our whiteboard. So for the parallel arrangement, we have 1 over R equals, okay, this is the value we are given here. All right, then plus 1 over 6. Okay, so when we find the LCM here, let me represent this with RP, resistance in parallel, to differentiate it from here. The LCM is 6R. R in 6R, we are left with 6 times 1, we have 6 plus 6 in 6R, we are left with R. R times 1, we have R, okay? So equals 1 over RP, resistance in parallel. So when we cross multiply, we would have 6R equals RP equals 6 plus R. So resistance in parallel will be 6 plus R, dividing both sides. Okay, so we'll see that the resistance we have in parallel equals 6R over 6 plus R. So, and don't forget that we have to bring it to the one we have in series. So for the total connection in series, the R total will be equals to, the first one in series is 3 ohms, right? Plus the one we got from the parallel arrangement, that will be plus 6R over 6 plus R. Now, don't forget that the total resistance here in the circuit from V equals IR, right? So we are given our V as, going back to the question, the V is given as 12 equals, the high current is given as 2 times R, dividing both sides by 2. So the R total is 6. So what do we do here? We replace this R total with 6. Okay, so that will be 6 equals 3 plus 6R over 6 plus R. Let's collect like terms. We have 6 minus 3 equals 6R over 6 plus R. So we have 3. So already we can just say this is 3 equals 6R over 6 plus R. What do? We cross multiply. So we have 3 into bracket 6 plus R equals 6R. What do? Again, we can divide both sides by 3. Okay, so we have 6 plus R equals 2R. Because, yes, 3 here 1, 3 here 2. Okay, sending the R outside, so we have 6 equals 2R. Positive R goes outside, becomes negative R. So therefore, 6 equals R. So the R that we are looking for in the diagram is actually 6 ohms, or you can write it as 6 omega. So let's go back to the screen and select the correct option. So the unknown resistance R here is identified as 6 ohms or 6 omega. So option B is the correct option. You know, it's very possible that in the course of your personal study or using this video content, you may encounter 1 or 2 difficulties, and this may lead to you having questions you would like to ask. All you just have to do for yourself is to click on the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website where solution providers are waiting to help you out. So why not ask your question right now, and within moments you will get your answers. So we are tackling question 35. Which of the following instruments consumes the highest current? Okay, we have electric iron, the volt, 250 volts. We have 1 kilowatts. We have television set, 220 volts, 110 watts. We have torchlights. We have 6 volts, then 30 watts. Then we have the immersion heater, 110 volts and 500 watts. So all we just have to do is to use the power formula, which is P equals to IV, that is current times voltage. Okay, so P equals to IV. So we are asked to look for I. What do? We divide both sides by V. So we have I equals to P over V. So for the current for electric iron, E will be equals to, what is our P? P is 1 kilowatt. 1 kilowatt, that is 1000 watts. Okay, over the voltage, which is 250. So this is 4 amperes. Okay, the current for electric iron. We have another appliance. We have television sets. The power consumed is 110 over 220. 220 volts. Okay, 11 here 1, 11 here 2, that is 0.5 amperes. Okay, we have another appliance as well. We have the torch. Okay, so I can put this as L, so that not to confuse it with the television sets. Okay, we have 30 over 6, 30 watts over 6 volts. So here we have 5 amperes. Okay, then we have the immersion heater. I can represent that with I equals 500 over 110. 500 watts over 110. Okay, so when I divide this, I should have roughly 4.5. Yeah, roughly 4.5. So the question states that which of the following instruments here consumes the highest current. So the highest current here is 5A for the torch. So the torch consumes the most amount of current, and that is 5 amperes. So let's go through all of the values given us. So I represents the torch, and that makes option C the correct option. So option C is super correct. Going through these video clips, and you see at a point or the other there are certain solutions you would like to share or explanations you would recommend. Please, we would like to know. Kindly use the comment section below, indicate the question number, and put forward the solutions you would like to share with us. Question 36. In which of the following diagrams is the length of the tube equal to 1 wavelength? So this is definitely an open pipe. Okay, this is definitely a closed pipe rather. Okay, an open pipe, you see both ends of the tubes or the pipe is open. So this is definitely a closed pipe. One of the ends is closed. So if you look at all of these diagrams provided, this shows you a wavelength. Remember, a wavelength talks about two successive troughs or crests. So, and this is what you can form from here. So you can trace it. I think you are seeing it. So when you let the line pass through here, you can see that a wavelength is being formed between 2 successive troughs or 2 successive crests. So just do this and you will have the correct diagram. So it's a thing of imagination. So the correct option here is option C for diagram C is correct. Question 37. Which of the following pairs is part of the electromagnetic spectrum? When you say electromagnetic spectrums, we are talking about spectra. We are talking about such kind of spectra that do not require a material medium for their propagation. Okay, and they travel at the speed of light. Example include your gamma ray, your radio waves, your light rays, and what have you. So going back to the question, which of the following pairs is part of the electromagnetic spectrum? Radio wave, electromagnetic spectrum; sound wave, mechanical kind of wave. Okay, we have gamma rays, they are electromagnetic spectrum. Water waves, they are mechanical waves. They can travel through vacuum. So the correct options, or the correct combination will be I and I. So that makes option C the correct option. Question 38. A substance has a half-life of 3 minutes. After 6 minutes, the count rate was observed to be 400. What was its count rate at 0 time? So they are just talking about half-life. Okay, so we are told that at 3 minutes, that marks its half-life. Okay, therefore at 6 minutes, that will be right times 2 of this, so that will be n over 4. And we are told that at 6 minutes, okay, the count rate was observed to be 400. So we are told that this is 400 equals n over 4. If you cross multiply, that will be 400 times 4 equals n. So that will be 1600 equals n. So this is the count rate that we are looking for. So let's go back to the screen and select the correct option. When you look through all of the options we've been provided with, you will locate 1600 option A. So option A is the correct option. We've come to the end of this segment, but there are more video clips to come on various subjects. Please, all you just have to do for us is to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button and tap on bell notification always so that you can get alerts as soon as we upload the next video clip for the next subject.